Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello! My name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and you, dear listener, have, for whatever reason, decided to listen to another horrible gaming podcast. I am not alone. Usually I am never alone. Special guest today, Grandpa Gamer is with us. Gamer is with us.
Pause your ears. I almost forgot something.
Pause my ears.
Yeah, let's be done. You know.
Okay. To understand the belt, but also fail to understand why I'm still friends with him, check out OMGM.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, so here's the deal. If you guys don't already know, Neil needed 2 weeks off. He is taking this Sunday and next Sunday off. I have pre-recorded a thing with him for next week, but this week we didn't have anything. And it's been a little while since I've talked about WWE 2K25. Neil is a very knowledgeable game person. He is not very knowledgeable in the wrestling video game area. So I figured I'd have Grandpa Gamer come on and talk about WWE 2K25, where we think the franchise is.
Can I play these Sometimes I'm bad and he hoses me down.
I do. I'm sorry.
That'll be the outtakes.
That won't be in the outtakes. That's in the show.
Or the taking it outtakes.
Jeremy's trying to get us canceled now because right before we started, I was like, if there's anything you don't want me to use. So now he's like, I'm going to get us canceled. So we're going to talk about 2K25. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. If it's not, I understand. I know a lot of you are not wrestling people, but we're going to chit-chat about it for a second. But again, there will be no fan interaction this week or next week. It will be back the week after. We'll probably do a whole show on it. So still get your comments in there, and they will be read, just like we always promise. But for this week and next week, it's all pre-recorded stuff, so no fan interaction. So,
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our talking point. 2K25. You did. You paused it.
You're lying right now, though.
What?
We don't have access to 2K25.
Oh, it's 2K24. What am I doing?
Oh. You said 2K25 a lot.
I did. Oh, no. I'm sorry, everybody.
Now I actually feel like I can talk about this.
Yeah. I apologize. So, 2K25 isn't out yet. We've heard very little information about it.
No, but what you have heard excites me and maybe worth getting.
Yeah. I think the thing is 2K25 is going to... I mean, they had a very successful launch with 2K24. So, I mean, we could start there. 2K25. When do we think it's going to come out? I think, again, we're going to be looking at March, right around WrestleMania, just like this last time that they did it. They also were very successful in the fact that they didn't show us anything till like January, February.
Yeah.
And then it came out basically a month and a half later, which is a great strategy, especially if you're an annualized franchise. But we're going to talk about the annualized franchise because I'm not a huge fan. That being said, so 2K25, I think we'll see it in March, and we'll see some interesting changes to it. But
potentially,
yes. Before we get to what we'd like to see in 2K25, let's talk about 2K24 and where we are. The final DLC came out just in September. I think a week or two ago, it just came out. The very final DLC for them. What?
I remember seeing something about
Jade Cargill, unofficial
right.
Carlito got added.
That's right.
Dragon Lee, I think, is in it. So my thing is, here's my thing, right? I don't like the way they do anything for the post-launch. So, especially with an annualized franchise. So we've got an annualized franchise here that comes out a year, and their final DLC has come out, 4 months before the next game comes out? 5 months?
Roughly.
What is the point at this point? The other thing I don't like is it's always wrestlers. I feel like there's better ways to do DLC.
No, because they're going to want to save any of the big things. Like if they were going to add any type of a match type or anything really awesome, they're going to save it for the next game. Like if they dropped the other franchises, i.e. TNA or
Right.
anything else like
Right.
that, you're going to be
Right.
like, well, screw 25. I don't need it.
Okay, I suppose that's fair. I guess, my thing is this. I don't like the slow drip of wrestlers. I would rather have... Because they've even admitted that they cut the wrestlers out of the early build so that they have something to put in the DLC. I would much rather we get all the wrestlers up front because we only have so much time to play with, and then we have features drop through the DLC. I would be much more excited to pay for DLC if it was like the TNA show being added to it, or maybe like some sort of feature or a mode or something like that. I would rather have that than wrestlers.
When you cut it down to brass tacks, either way, it's a dick move. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be paying for features that are probably already in the game, hidden behind code that you pay the whatever money to unlock.
Right.
Same thing for the wrestlers.
Yeah.
It would be kind of nice if they just one and done it.
Yeah.
And then just do patches throughout the year.
Well, and that's another thing we need to talk about. The annualized
used to
franchise schedule. I hate the annualized franchise schedule. I've hated it for a while.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And as good as 24 is, I'm already starting to see the cracks that we started to see back in the day. Because, so, the spelling back, it started with 2K14, and by 2K20 it was a shit show, right? Now, they were going through some developer changes and stuff like that, so
Always.
there is some issues with that, but I feel like with an annualized franchise, especially with the hardware we're working with now, you don't have enough time to build that, especially if you're dividing the team into getting these DLCs out and making them, plus you have probably another team divided into just keeping the one you have running. The other thing is, I hate the fact that, like, if I'm going to pay $70 once a year, I shouldn't then have to pay another 10, another 10, another 10, another 10, just to pay another 70 5 months later. I would much rather them...
Oh, I agree with that.
If they were going to keep it annualized, I would much rather them not do any DLCs and just do patches. Just fix it until the next one came out.
And I agree with that, too. Because it's just a shit show anymore. Nowadays, you buy a game, we're going to sound old. Look at the channel.
Oh, yeah.
But back in our day, you paid the, $50, then $60. Done. You might get patches once, because online became bigger as longer we played.
Yeah.
But we talked about this before. You want your solution? Split the games. Make one game, just GM mode, one game, wrestling.
Yeah, I would like that. I think that, and that's something you guys should all know out there. I only play GM mode. It is my favorite, and then same with him for the most part.
The problem is it may be too much of a niche. I mean, they should do some legwork and get the numbers of who would actually get just GM mode. I'm
still afraid that we're slowly, rolling towards that eventual second collapse. I feel like when we hit 2K27, 2K28, we're going to be looking at it's broken again.
If the world is around by then.
And what?
If the world is around by then.
Yeah, well, we don't get into politics here.
Wrestling is all about politics.
And the apocalypse is apparently politics nowadays.
No, that is the Undertaker's return.
But I don't like the fact that 2K24 even feels a little bit behind on bug fixes and stuff. They have a lot of great features there, but when it first came out, it still had some issues where people wouldn't climb in the cage matches or the TLC. This is true, but that also transcends into other things.
Well,
and then they fix things. We've already had a couple of these DLC patches break something again multiple times. And I feel like that's because everything is up against this time schedule. So they spread out the DLCs, but now we're not getting the last DLC until we're about to spend $70 again.
And once again, those fixes probably could be quicker. We don't know the industry. We don't know what all they're doing, but they're also probably split focused between prepping for 25 and trying to...
Exactly.
I read the other day, I think 2K23 is being shut down server-wise or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they always do. They shut down the last one about halfway through the lifespan of the next one, which is infuriating right there. Just the fact that if you had 2K23 and you didn't want to move on, you can't get new wrestlers, you can't get new anything. It's just done.
That's how they make their money.
Yeah, in a way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still considering skipping 2K25. There is a couple of things that they are potentially adding,
even if they release
based on
the
like overall 2K24 does everything the GM mode that I really want it to do. There are some things that they could add to it that would make it better, but I love that GM mode. I love playing that GM mode with you. I like playing it by myself. I have a notebook now for myself where I'm keeping score of my own stuff. I love that GM mode. I feel like that GM mode's near perfect as it is. The only thing you could do is add more features that would make it cooler. So, like...
See, I think if they wanted to add more features, they'd have to dump some of the actual playing stuff.
Well...
That would create so much room, I would imagine.
And that's what's tricky, too, is you have... GM mode's been getting a lot of love since it came out in 2K22. Like, I almost feel like that's their baby in a lot of ways.
It has, but they also still railroad you into the game itself.
They do.
I understand them trying to do that.
Well, their true baby is that card pack bullshit faction war thing that they do,
to unlock
which is
stuff
just garbage.
GM modes
it's
and other things.
Garbage. I hate that. More microtransactions on top of the microtransactions on top of an annualized franchise is just a huge problem. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Just given everything I've said on this channel before in history, I feel guilty buying that game. Like, every year I feel guilty buying that game because that game is literally everything we preach against. It is a ton of GLCs. It's a premium cost with microtransactions and loot boxes all through it. It is literally the worst, most basest fucking gaming habits from corporations just all rolled into one.
Well, yeah, but in 2K25, you can get Cody Rhodes with his dark hair.
Right. Exactly.
I want now. I don't give a shit about that.
And I mean, the fact that they work in a microtransaction right off the bat, the supercharger, so that you don't have to unlock things in the game. Like, the only reason those things are locked...
How they catered to you.
Yeah, it is very infuriating the way that I have to purchase that game, and it's one of the reasons that I don't want to purchase it. In fairness, and you remember, I didn't want to purchase it.
You want to get 24.
I didn't want to get 224.
But they added a lot of match types.
The problem is, right now, I feel like as developers, their baby in a lot of ways. Other than the faction war, other than the microtransactions, the developers who are actually making the game, their baby is that GM mode. Because Universe mode, that's been a huge complaint, is Universe mode hasn't gotten that many improvements or better features.
How can you really improve it, though?
You can. There's a lot of things. First of all, they don't have any way to start from scratch in Universe mode.
Okay.
Which is garbage. Like there's no blank slate button. Like, you have to go in, like, if you start a Universe mode, you then have to go in and individually edit every show that you want on and take them out individually. You have to delete every Raw that you don't want there. That's fucking insane. You have to take all those people off that roster and put them on another one. It should just be like, here's all the wrestlers, here's the shows you can have, where do you want them where? There should be a setup screen, but there isn't. When you start up Universe mode, it just takes you to week 1 as if you're Raw on that. And it's infuriating. That, right off the bat, is a bad starter. They've only added a couple of features here and there. They've actually removed some features like promos, like live promos and characters talking to each other. And it was never really good to begin with, but instead of improving it, they just removed it. Like, Universe mode has not gotten the love that, like, a lot of people have sought, which had prompted people to say they should merge it with GM mode, which, please don't do that. Please don't do that. But, like, GM mode, on the other hand, every year gets all these new features, right?
Which is so strange to me. Because I had my doubts as to how much GM mode was played. But if they're focusing that much on GM mode, it seems to me like that's...
I think GM mode is a content creator.
The moneymaker.
I think the thing is GM mode... Like, Universe mode is also content creation. Like, a lot of people will just make their own leagues and do shows every week. But I think GM mode is much more for the... Like... If you don't want to do machinima, which, trust me, I did it once, it's hard. If you don't want to do that, GM mode is like you could just stream your show.
That could be what they fear.
What do you mean what they fear?
Well, I mean...
Explain.
You could have...
Elaborate.
You could have your dream matches. And I don't even mean with the retired or, deceased wrestlers. I mean with current wrestlers from any brand.
Okay.
Anything. You could have your own dream show.
Okay.
And people might start watching that instead of their show. I'm not saying it's going to draw all the views,
I don't think that's going to happen.
It could be some things. It could cause a ruckus.
I mean, they do have a ton of those on YouTube. You could if you search 2K24, there's enough of those shows to throw sticks at, where it's just like old ECW show every week, and somebody's booking that in universe mode. But then the people though that are really getting the hits are like the people like
us,
up down down, doing their Battle of the Brands. There's a guy who I know who's Mackenzie plays, who just by himself just does it. There's some other guys who I cannot remember. They're British. There's like 3 of them who do exactly what we do. Basically, they just book against each other and make fun of each other the entire time. There's a lot of those shows where it's much more. It connects with the streaming audience a little bit better, I think, and I think that's one of the reasons GM Mode has gotten so much love. The thing is though. GM Mode's getting the love. It's why I couldn't skip 2K24, because why I couldn't skip 2K23. 2K22 had GM Mode, and it was fine, but it was just bare bones stripped. We played one season of it. 2K23 came out, and it was like, yes! Like, that got the big one. That was like the killer act for GM Mode.
We still had our miffs with that one.
Yeah, definitely. When it first started, remember you couldn't defend a title in triple threats or fatal four-ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like...
And the match types were okay. Nothing really fun and extravagant.
It was nearly not...
Like, I was on the edge of my seat for 24 when I booked that casket match between KO and Logan Paul.
Logan Paul won. We've totally we're spoiling the show because that has not come out and won't come out.
I mean, obviously, I don't know the outcome. I could have actually fixed that, and I probably should have gotten one of those cards, but I didn't, and it was exciting to me to watch.
They added twice as many match types. They added an extra brand, regardless of whether I think about how they added it. They added tons of GMs to play, even though we don't play. The normal GMs. They added a ton of them. They upped the game, and then they added trading, which was a huge thing.
Which is kind of fun. But
It is. I think they did it in a really good way. So that you can't just sit there and trade all day. Here's the spot for it. Here's the trades. They're big trades. They're impactful.
They definitely made talent acquisition a lot more painful to your wallet.
They definitely changed the economy.
Yeah,
way changed the economy. Nonetheless, I think 2K24 was a huge improvement over 2K23.
Yes, agreed.
That's what makes me nervous about 2K25. And we can talk about what we're expecting for 2K25. Like, I am personally expecting the TNA wrestlers to be in there. They have this incredibly huge agreement with them now. They're even using the wrestlers from TNA to do motion capture for other wrestlers. This has been hinted and rumored about that they are even going to show up in 2K24, like that they were going to add them in 2K, just the wrestlers. So I feel like it is a natural progression of thought to think that in 2K25 we're going to see a TNA brand and potentially TNA wrestlers in that TNA brand.
Well, and not to mention all of the changes that are happening currently, like NXT getting belts.
Yes.
New belts.
Yeah, and they're beautiful.
And then they're supposedly giving the women's division a Intercontinental and a U.S. belt.
They have one on NXT already.
Do they?
Yeah, they have a female North American title.
So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to get some more belts.
Why would they drop that now when they could put it in 25 and say, hey, look what this has got?
Well, and I feel like for the last 3 seasons, people have been asking for custom shows on GM mode.
Saying that, yeah.
And I feel like that is almost a lock. I don't think that they're going to walk away from that. I think we're going to get custom shows at the very least, if not custom belts.
You know what else I would like to see is some more arenas. Like, are there any outdoor arenas? You know, like Jim Bob's barbecue backyard. You know what I mean? When you're starting off. Instead of the high school or the reverb room.
Well, and that's the thing. If we could build our own shows, there are tons of those in the game. Oh. It's just for GM mode. These are the ones that you get. You know, so like I feel like there are ways around that. I don't know if we'll get that in depth with GM mode in 2K25, but like it's definitely like. There's going to be improvements in 2K25. It is going to be hard for me to not buy it. Like, basically. I don't want to. I kind of want to stick with 2K24 for another year and see what happens.
That would be nice. But at the same time, you're also... Well, not when it comes to PC, it doesn't matter. console, you're getting a new console every, 4, 6
Oh,
years?
yeah. Fuck that.
So,
yeah, no.
It's not even necessary always, but...
Especially now. You gotta pay $700 for a fucking console.
If they were to make that 2 years, I would think you could see better improvements.
Within the near future, I'm going to put a $100 SSD in here, and then I am going to try and run this thing. I've already said it on the show. I'm going to try and run this thing till the wheels fall off and see just how far I can get into other console generations without a dime. Because I think the whole graphics thing is all bullshit.
Like, you don't need it.
What do you mean you don't need it?
Oh, like Johnny was bitching the other day. It's like, who gives a shit about it between
Yeah.
HD,
Yes.
4K, 5K,
Yes.
6K, 8K?
Your eyes can't tell the difference between 4K and HD.
Maybe.
We're beyond the point of that.
Maybe a younger person's can.
I mean, I understand 60 frames per second in competitive multiplayer. That is the only time I understand it. Any other time, 30 frames per second, absolutely fine. I think I'm going to be trying to play this into like 3 or 4 generations.
But eventually we could get to the point where it just beams the image directly to your eyes. So you just play with your eyes closed. That might be worth it.
Maybe. But we're not there.
No.
Right now we're getting these incremental changes for thousands of dollars more, and that's ridiculous. I don't want that. And we've said that a lot on the channel. My goal is to have this PC until this PC does not work anymore. Like, I cannot put games on it. And I just want to point out, this is not a top-of-the-line graphics card. At this point, this graphics card is 3 years old? Okay? 3 years old, and when I bought it, it was a middling graphics card.
What has given you issues?
What?
What games have given you issues?
Not a fucking one. Not to mention the fact, the only game that I've ever played that had a minimum requirement higher than this, because you always look at the minimum and the maximum on PC, right? Yeah. And then, like I've always been in between that. The only one that has ever been above the minimum was fucking Starfield. Starfield, their posted required graphics card. I run a 5700 XT. No, 5600 XT. Their posted required was a 5700 AMD. Ran just fine! Absolutely just fine on this. Well, no. It ran like shit. But it ran like shit because Starfield ran like shit for everybody in the beginning.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with this graphics card. My computer ran that game just fine. So, like, there has been nothing that has challenged this. And it is a real old graphics card.
What about 2K24?
Okay. Honestly, 2K24... Well, 2K24 does have those weird glitches, but I don't think that... The slowdown glitches that we comment on...
That's that or the game.
I don't know if it's that or the game. The other thing is... The obnoxious thing, and this is the thing that I need to upgrade here, is the SSD. Everything requires a fucking SSD now. And my SSD, when I put it in, which was probably nearsighted, I put in 1512, and my motherboard only has one SSD slot. So I only have 512 gigs on that SSD, so I have to keep jumping around. And right now I'm at a point where 3 games takes that up.
Yeah.
Like, I've got Baldur's Gate 3.
That's a bazillion.
Which is giant. WWE 2K24, which is giant. Right. And then, like, I think 1 or 2 other ones. And, that, like, when, because I was playing Skull and Bones, the Ubisoft game, and I actually really want to go back to it. But the problem is it's like 100 gigs.
And you have to delete something to make room?
Yeah, when I deleted it off my thing, they sent me a survey. Like, they were like, why are you deleting this? Can we just ask you? And I was like, sure. And I just typed into it, I do not have the space for said game. I've played it quite a bit. I plan on coming back, but for right now, I want to play another game. I need to take this off of it to put it on. And it was 2K24. I needed to take this Skull and Bones off of it to put 2K24 on it. So I think that, like, the SSD is what I need. But, like, no, this fucker rocks and rolls. Stella's computer upstairs that we've built recently, I think last year, that sucker's newer, right? Better graphics card, better SSD. She's got the 2 terabyte. She's got a nicer motherboard, right? Her fucking computer, I don't think she'll ever have to change it. That's my theory. Because I don't think the graphical improvements that we have, they just can't get any better. I don't think anything.
Where are your graphics settings at on 24?
On 24?
Are they bottom, mid, top?
They're slightly above mid.
You think you can crank in the top?
I'd probably have a little more of that, like jerky. I could probably crack them in the top because I play GM mode.
Yeah.
Like, I would get irritated at the cuts on that. But I legitimately don't think that's my graphics card. I think that's their game. I don't think it's me. Just from what I've witnessed and when I've witnessed slowdowns and stuff. Like, in any game that I've had that has had issue with that stuff, you crank it down one notch, everything's still beautiful. Like, you still see it. Like, No Man's Sky sometimes gives me a little chunk if I put it up to ultra.
Gotcha.
But, like, if I turn it down one, it's still beautiful as shit. It works just fine. Like, the thing is people, like, see that graphic thing. And people are getting smarter, because I don't think people are going to buy that PlayStation 5, that $700. I don't think they're going to fucking buy it.
They can save $80, but not get a disc drive.
I don't think they're going to fucking buy it. Right. I don't think they're going to fucking buy it. I don't think so. And I think that, like, that's going to be a cost. Because people have started to, like, buy that shit less.
But at the same time, I still want some suckers out there that can afford it. Because, if I ever do make the transition, I don't want that to be $10 million.
Well, that's the thing. Right now, I can build a PC.
And that's right now.
For, like, there's a PC out there with a coupon, a Lenovo 4070.
Yeah.
With a coupon, it costs $760. It will do everything that PlayStation Pro will do and more.
See, and that's what I don't
want. That PlayStation Pro sucks that computer's dick.
I don't want them to be like...
Granted, you have to buy a monitor with it and shit, but...
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, like, this PC, like, PCs are the way to go. Like, and they're so much easier than people think they are. Like, because I was the guy who was like, I'm not getting it, it's too complicated. And then Phil was getting it, and I was like, oh, maybe. And then, like, we got it, built the PC. The PC build takes a while, not that hard. And then after you get it all booted up, it's easy as shit. And anything you don't understand, there are a million YouTube videos that easily and clearly define how to do the thing that you need to do. Like, boom, right away,
For the most part, yes.
Yeah. PC's the way to go. We got off topic.
Yeah.
We got off of it.
You did. I was trying to 24, 25.
Hey, no, you did good. You did good. Don't sell yourself short.
I don't.
You did good. What would we want to see from 2K25? Or what do we want to see from the franchise moving forward? Like, wish list.
What I would like
not what they're going to do, but what we'd like to see.
Wish list, change it up. Go at least a year and a half before releasing a new game.
Okay.
Maybe go after WrestleMania sometime.
Okay.
Because then you can incorporate the new changes, challenge, champions, blah, blah, blah. Cut back on the microtransactions, people. And that's said for every game, but...
So, okay. You didn't seem done. I thought you were done, and then I heard an intake, so I didn't think I wasn't about to know.
It's a very loaded question, because I know they want to make money, and they need money to keep making the games. But I think a lot of times they're just dicking the dog on it. I would rather they stand out.
I'm going to name this episode Dicking the Dog.
I would rather them stand out and, say, hey, we love you guys. This is awesome. Here's
what I don't know if I would like this, but this is what I would much rather see. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to get very mad at me when I say it. But given the amount of money they ask of us right now for the quality that we're getting, I don't think it's even. I like the game. Don't get me wrong. It is the only real wrestling game in town.
Always good.
There are some challengers on the horizon that might upset it, but because I keep hearing about it from a very wishful Jonathan.
If they fucking come out.
Right. But that's the thing. Yeah, they've been in development for 10 years, and they're all kind of like smoke and mirror promises. This is the game. Like, this is the game, because you could play any AEW thing here, you could play any TNA thing here, because of the creation suite. Here's what I want to see. Or not want to see, but if this is the way you want to do this, if you do this, I would instead of this annualized franchise bullshit, make it a subscription. Make it a subscription.
That's ballsy.
Okay, it's ballsy, but if you were to buy everything Like, if you're buying everything, if you're a person buying everything for 2K24, you are spending upwards of $200 right now. Okay? If you make it a subscription for, like, let's say $10 a month, okay, which I think would be high, but $10 a month, it's $120 a year. And then they are just ongoing working on it constantly. Either that, but take the microtransactions out. Mm-hmm. No more DLCs. No more of this stupid card buying premium bullshit. Just $10 a month, and we get to play the game, and you just keep updating it. That's it. Like
from release, so there's no $70 to buy the game. It's just you sign on.
You just sign on,
and if
you're
you
done.
Stop paying that,
you can't play it anymore. Yeah, like that's what I would do. Either that, like World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Either
that, or I'd make it free to play and just leave all these microtransactions in there, but just make it free to play. Like, a new wrestler comes out, $3. Like, okay, don't stop making me pay the $70, but what I really need to happen, regardless of how they decide to do this, stop annualized franchise. Because an annualized franchise is just a games as service anyway, but a games as service that you can't do right because you have to basically build the game from the ground up every fucking time. And then what happens is these assets get older and older, and you have this rot in the game that just goes through it. Every one of these fucking annualized franchises eventually has a game where it's like, this is terrible because they haven't had enough time to work on it. Call of Duty, all of the sports games go through this, and then they eventually have to take a year off to get their shit together. Just stop that. Just make it free to just make whatever your model is. Here's the game. Stuff comes out regularly.
Well, I guess what would be nice to know is how they have their team. You know, like, do they have a split team, or is it one team doing both?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we don't know, though.
Just make it a games of service. The problem is you're trying to have your cake and eating too. You're trying to make it a games of service while also making it an annualized franchise, and there's just too much going on. Like, just take the game. Here's the game. WWE. Period. Boom. This is our game. And then from that point on, you just get shit whenever it would come out anyway. And then every so often, there's a full refresh of the graphics engine because every game as a service does that anyway. And then you just you move on with your lives. Like, I would much rather have that in some capacity than the way they do it now. And I know they do it now for money. But the thing is they would get the same amount of money. You could easily make the same amount of money. On, like, a free-to-play where you're selling the wrestlers, like, and the packs, you're going to make just as much money.
So you're talking about cutting out downloadable characters?
Well, I mean, they would probably, unfortunately, they would have to get stricter on, like, the WWE wrestlers.
Which is more coding. Well, what about...
But, I mean, half the wrestlers... That's still a better practice than what they're doing now in faction mode, where, like, there's 1,000 other variants of wrestlers that you just can't even... I saw it. We can move past it. We don't have to talk about it. Just a mini stroke right there. Yeah. Oh, he had dental work today. He's a trooper. He's a trooper.
Little swole. You know what? I'm going to toss this out there right now before I forget.
All right.
You know what would be kind of entertaining to throw into 25? They did it once that I've seen. They probably maybe done it more. Seth Rollins. Remember when he did the ref cam?
Yeah, that's great.
That would be kind of neat to watch. And I mean, obviously they wouldn't have the smack talking. But it'd be kind of funny to see the ref going through.
I mean, let's face it, the smack talking is what made it.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that one, Drew. Oh, don't get mad. You never pinned anyone to an overhead throw. I love the fact that, like, it's all predetermined. He doesn't need to be sitting in there smack talking them the whole time, but he's just smack talking them the whole time.
Well, and I will definitely say I would love to see them if they toss in crossovers. I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, if I can challenge one of your guys or challenge you,
something like
on
that
the show. Yeah, just
even if they had the crossover show, like what I want to do, where it's like a Survivor Series or a Royal Rumble or like a Money in the Bank or something,
or War Games.
Yeah. Like, or anything where, like, for a month we have to collaborate on a storyline would be fucking phenomenal. That would be a creme de la creme. I would have to buy it for that. Honestly, the thing that I think's going to be in there might be a thing that makes me drop that money. The TNA, like if they put TNA in there as a brand, I think no matter what happens, and that's the other thing, no matter what happens, I'm not buying it for the first month. Just like this one, I'm not. Well, this one I bought right away, but we didn't start doing anything in it until like a month after.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm not messing with the broke shit.
You gotta check it out. They gotta do patches,
Yep,
obviously, right away. How would you feel though if they put in TNA but pulled out ECW?
I would not feel good because ECW should be in there. I think one of the biggest weaknesses of GM mode is its lack of brands right now, especially considering the fact that you literally have a company that owns 40 brands. I mean, watch the McMahon documentary. They bought every goddamn territory out there. AWA. Now I can't
say that twice.
I know. I can't remember anyone after it.
40, real quick.
43.
33 and a third.
There's AWA, Rocky Mountain Wrestling, like all those big territories, they're all in there. They're all in there. Like, WWE owns them. If you go to WWE programming right now, you can watch classic matches that aired. Stampede's another one. Like, you can watch classic matches that aired on those because WWE, the whole thing with wrestling, if you're not a wrestling person, the whole thing with wrestling was that there was a territory thing. They were all mobsters, and they all owned little chunks. They were crazy people. But they all had this, like, it's like gentleman's agreement that, like, they wouldn't cross over into the other people's territories. And then Vince got it, and he was like, ha ha ha, eat all of you! And he literally just ate them all up. But he owns them. Because he ate them, he owns them.
He doesn't know, but yes.
No, he doesn't. He sold it. And now, fuck him. Fuck his rapist ass.
Now,
but
that seems like rape too, but too much R's.
Yeah,
what
fair.
about...
Let's not rape with rape. Let's just fucking imprison.
What about the UFC tie-in?
I don't really want the UFC in there, but, like, I would like to see, like... I would love to see, like, so many more brands. Like, AWA, add the TNA. That's great. Keep ECW in there. Give them women's championships! And I swear to God, you put any of these classics in there, give them women's. I know the women weren't big wrestlers back then. There's no reason. It's fantasy. The whole fucking thing is fantasy anyway. Let us have women wrestlers in there.
It's reality. You know what else I would like to see is managers. You never see them come down to the ring with their peeps.
I agree. I'd also like a little bit better stable sort of thing, like being able to put people in a stable.
Like an actual stable? Yeah. Instead of just...
instead of just making it up in your head. Yeah, they did.
That's nice.
The tag teams are great, but, like, I would like to be like, oh, this is a stable that you can put them together.
Because that would be kind of nice to do a promo. I never do those anyway, but, promo stable. Oh, yeah. At least 4 guys.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Give some sort of benefit for them to being together, and then potentially run something. Yeah, other than in your head, which... Trust me, my head can do a lot of the heavy lifting on those kind of things. I've definitely formed and broken up some stables that the game had no idea was going on. I think that, like, you could do a ton of extra brand stuff. If there's anything in the GM mode that it needs, it has plenty of GMs to play with. It has plenty of match types now. It has plenty of stuff like that. Give us more brands. There are only actually 5 brands in the game. 5. Hell, bring back ECW, NXT UK. Oh. Like, why even take that out? It was in 2K22. I know that it closed. ECW closed too, guys. So did WCW. So you took out UK and you added WCW, which is 20 years old. Like, I think that they should add all those back in, all those brands back in.
That would be nice to see.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has more options, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's it. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to do our little pluggies, and we'll be done. Nice short show. Next week, well, I'll get to it in the plugs.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
On Old Man General Manager, myself and Grandpa Gamer, we book against each other in 2 computer opponents. Weekly. Thursdays, going live at 8 a.m. Eastern. As far as I'm concerned, check out everything we have to offer. We have a lot of TTRPG and video game content here, reviews, podcasts, actual plays, whatever we got. We got streams, we got it all. If you like one of those 2 things, we've got something that you will enjoy. You can also check out our shirts at wizardswrestbike.com. And then finally, one final scheduling note. Next week, it's pre-recorded. It's already been recorded, myself and Neil. And just a little preview. We each basically elevator pitch a movie based on a video game. And then you guys can watch that. It's fun. It's real fun. So other than that, you guys can reach us on Facebook at Old Man Gaming DH, on X at Old Man Gaming 9. You can join our Discord, links in the description below. Influence us in all of our shows from there. As long as you guys keep watching and listening, we will keep making them. We'll see you guys next time.
I'm gonna plug this real quick. How about this for a great movie idea?
What?
Spy vs. Spy.
Spy vs. Spy.
You and
fucking
me.
Oh.
We would have a lot of fun with that.
What?
It'd be a great game, though. Oh, you remember the old show?
I do remember the old show. Yes, and I loved the old show. All right.
Out.